been amazing kind of watching my friends grow up and watching them take the next step in their career and be able to kind of figure out what they want to do with their lives, or at least the general body of the population that uses social media, they use it in a positive way. Hello, soul healers. It's DJ Lee here, your emotional intelligent bestie, and I'm back at it again with another video with y'all. So today's video is about kind of being in a weird place of celebrating your friends and being happy for all the things that's happening in their lives, but also like kind of not getting the same things that they're getting in life, and just wanting to be at the level that they're at. It's a really messy feeling to have. It's a very weird feeling to have because these are your friends, right? These are people you're supposed to be happy for. These are the people that you should be cheering on when great things are happening to them in their lives. But at the same time, you really want those things for yourself as well. And so what does that balance of that look like for yourself? And as always, it's just complicated. If you like this type of content, you should definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you should also follow me on my Instagram as well, and kind of follow my life as a 30-year-old living in Boston, being obviously your emotional intelligent bestie. And I'm just kind of excited to kind of jump right into this topic for today. You know, I'm finally getting to that age where I'm getting invited to weddings. I'm getting invited to baby showers. I'm getting invited to people's graduations from their masters and PhDs. And it's been amazing kind of watching my friends grow up and watching them take the next step in their career and be able to kind of figure out what they want to do with their lives and who they want to be with, and how to start a family and think about their next steps in their career. Like, those are all really great things to really start thinking about when we hit our 30s. But at the same time, there's like this little bit of this jealousy feeling that kind of comes when you see these things, because you know, I am very much single. And yes, I have my master's degree, but I don't have my PhD. I would love to, but I don't think I have the capacity to go back to school to get my doctorate degree. I also do not plan on having kids anytime soon. And so just seeing all these things kind of makes me feel like, am I doing something wrong? Do I need to take different actions or steps in my life to get to where my friends are at and stuff like that? But I also need to realize that everybody's life is completely different. Like, I've known family members that didn't get married until they were 40. I've known people who went back to college around my age and finally got their bachelor's degree. So everybody's journey is just different. But I think for me, it's when you're younger, you're told that you're gonna get married at a certain age, you're gonna have a good career at a certain age, you're gonna have kids at a certain age. And knowing that I'm 32 years old, I'm single, not married, don't plan on having kids anytime soon, and I'm kind of figuring out my career right now. Definitely love my job, definitely love where I'm at, but definitely feel like I could definitely be further along in my career. And so that's just really weird to be in that space and navigate that space, especially since moving to Boston. I have a lot of friends that are very well off in their careers and know what they want to do kind of for the rest of their lives. And I have a good sense of kind of what I want to do. I want to work with people, I want to make things better and stuff like that. And I'm currently doing that right now with the job that I have. But I just wish I had, more of a say or more of an influence in the work that I do that makes me feel like I'm really accomplishing something or I'm being really successful. And I just don't really have that right now. And it's just really, really hard. And I don't want to be selfish, and I don't want to be insecure, or I don't want my friends to think that like they don't deserve those things, because they absolutely do deserve those things. They work their butts off, and I'm very, very happy for them. But it's just hard when you put yourself in the mindset of like, this is what's going to happen at this age, and this is what's going to happen at this age, and then you don't reach those goals for yourself, or it's been fixated in your head for so long. And I just got to keep reminding myself that I'm only human, and not everybody's perfect, and not every timeline or organization and anything you write out is going to be to the T. And that's just one thing that I'm really trying to get past with my life. I'm a very structured person, and when things don't go exactly the way that I've written out, or it's in my head, I just don't know how to function. And that is something I'm really working on right now. You know, one thing that really affects me the most when it comes to kind of comparing myself to other people that are not probably, but are feeling, sorry, what word am I trying to find here? When you feel like someone's doing better than you, or like they're in a part of their life that you thought you would be in, I don't think that social media helps with that. Especially since social media is a place where we post all the positive and great things that happen to our lives, and we never go on social media and post like the negative things that happen to our lives, or at least the general body of the population that uses social media, they use it in a positive way, not a negative way. You know, there's some things after like I see certain social media posts that kind of go through my head, and it's like, you're too old to be figuring out what you want to do with life. You should be so much further along. Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, get it together. And those intrusive thoughts, man, like they can hurt you. And especially when it's just like nighttime and you're getting ready for bed, and your mind just starts to wander, and you're just laying in the dark and your mind just like attacks you. That is probably the worst time my brain likes to like attack me. Like, it has like its open space and its like quietness where it likes to attack me, and I'm just like, why are you attacking me? I'm literally trying my best. And just like really giving myself the space to really say back that like I'm doing fine, and that, you know, social media is only going to ever show the positive things, and it's never going to show like things going wrong. And people don't like that. People like to put on a front that everything's fine, and people like to put on a front that everything's amazing, and like that's not really the case sometimes. Like, no one's life is perfect. No one has the most amazing career. Nobody has the most perfect relationship. And that's just something I always have to remind myself. But I think it's hard when you see it on social media presented in such a perfect bow and a perfect presentation, that it's just really hard to be like, oh man, like I just wish I had that. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just really hard out here to like really go through life knowing that like people are doing things that you really want, and like you just don't have the capability or the structure or the capabilities of doing what everybody else is doing in their lives, and not in the right space for that either. One thing that I'm really working on with my therapist right now is kind of talking about how, like, yes, it's nice to be structured and have timelines for yourself and really talk about where you want to be in certain part of your life, but like at the end of the day, no timeline is perfect. Like, you can have like an estimate of a timeline, but don't go so hard on yourself when that timeline doesn't happen the way that you planned it. And that is something that I'm really trying to wrap my head around. I'm really trying to make sure that it doesn't eat me alive. Like you guys may already know based off like some past videos, I'm just a very structured person. I like writing things out. I like putting things in my calendar. I like having an idea of what I'm stepping into. I like an idea of like where I want to be for the weekend or for the next week or the month ahead and stuff like that. And when I don't have structure like that, or I don't have a timeline, it really hinders me and it messes me up. I also have a really bad habit of like, say for instance, like if my week doesn't start on a Monday and I don't perfectly start off the week, then it messes up my whole entire week. And it's just like a really sad process in my brain for myself. Like I know that I can always pick up wherever I want to make sure that everything's going to be good for myself structurally. But if it doesn't start off great on a Monday, it messes up my whole week. And that is something that I'm really, really trying to get past. But it's just such a bad habit that I have for myself. And so I think that kind of lingers into like my life of like looking at other people and being like, why am I not there? Like, why am I not at that level? Like, you know, and another part of me is like really proud of myself because there was one point from like the time after I graduated up until maybe like 28, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that I wanted to work and I knew I wanted to contribute to society and be an adult and get my own place and eventually get married and possibly have kids and stuff like that. But I just didn't know what that looked like for myself. And that really ate me alive for a really long time. And I'm really happy that finally I kind of started a career and I'm starting to put myself out there when it comes to dates and seeing people and, you know, developing relationships and figuring out next steps in my career and stuff like that. And it's okay not to like be fully ahead and really be on top of things, because at the end of the day, nothing's perfect. You can just only take it day by day, truly, and you can have an idea and you can plan stuff. That is perfectly fine and that is great. But you also have to remember that everything's not going to work out the way that you want it, and you have to pivot. You have to have a plan B. You have to have a plan C. You might even have to have a plan D. And I know that's really hard to wrap your head around, but it really is just reality. I've been doing a decently good job of coping with this feeling, truthfully. You know, I really try to limit my time scrolling through social media and really just taking time to like not look at certain things and look at people's stories and posts and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, like that's not going to make me feel any better. But also, if someone has something that you want, or someone has something that you would eventually want to be at that level, talk to them about how they got there. Like, you're not going to get there by just wishing upon a star and praying to God. Like, you got to ask people how they got there and the steps, how they got there, and write that out. And, you know, I've slowly been doing that and talking to people and being like, I want to be here. I see that you're here. Like, what can I do to get to that place, that spot in life? And so I think that's really, really important. But I think also what's really important as well is like honoring your own pace, and knowing that like everybody's pace is so different, and being able to have a respectable but also realistic pace for yourself. Like sometimes, like for me, like I was like, oh, I'm gonna have like 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel by like October. Bruh, I have like 30 subscribers and we're almost in October. So that is not realistic. And sometimes reality hits you, and now I have to think about what that pace looks like for myself and what that looks like for next steps for myself. And I'm slowly like figuring out that that's okay, and that will be fine, and I'll be perfectly fine the way that I am right now. And I am on a good pace, and I am figuring things out. Like, you know, there are people that are still trying to figure it out. And so like knowing that, you know, I'm still figuring it out, and I figured out things up to this point, like I should be very, very proud of myself. So I just want to tell you that you are not behind. You are just figuring things out, and you're going to figure it out. I promise. As long as you put the time and energy to figuring out, you will figure it out. I promise. And everything will be perfectly fine. And with that being said, that's the end of today's video. I really appreciate you guys sitting here and listening to me You should definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you should also follow me on my Instagram as well. And just know that you're not late. You're not lost. You're currently progressing to where you want to be. And just know that, like, I'm also on that path as well. And you're not alone when it comes to that. We will go through this together. So with that being said, keep striving and keep thriving. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.